This design I've come up with is a little bit more fussy. There's a lot more going on. Lots of glitter and a bit of freehand painting. But I like it because you can do it in any colour. I've done two here. We've got blue already and one done in pink. They look different every time, but the one I'm going to do on the trainer now, I'm going to do in red. So I've done all the prep. I've got red sunset, red acrylic powder. I'm going to use this for the free edge. So pick up a bead of product, place it on the form, and dry my brush out now. You don't need to worry too much about this smile line being perfect. We're going to put a lot of glitter on this in a minute. You don't want this too thick, you just want enough colour for the base of your design. I do like to use that strength pink for the bulk of the nail. Just apply a little bit more there, look. Okay, so I have a few different types of glitter. I've got a big chunky silver, I'm not going to use very much of that, a large chunky red glitter as well. I have this Stardust Cloud, this silver is very fine, it's pre-mixed. I'm going to swap to my little brush, just so that it's a little bit easier to control. I'm going to place a small bead on this nail and just very randomly just move it about, make a few swirls, spread it about anywhere you want. We're going to paint over the top of this when we're finished. I love this so much because you can do every single nail a little bit different. You never get bored of looking at them. They all look like they match. You can also use small fine red glitter if you want to change it a little bit. Using a bit of this strength pink here, I'm going to pick up a few little bits of this chunky silver glitter and add this onto the tip. You really can just do whatever you like. So I'm going to continue building the structure of the nail with the normal pink. Finishing off the free edge, capping that glitter. Using the belly of your brush to make sure that you press it all down neatly, get all the air bubbles out, encapsulating all of those big chunky pieces of glitter in there. Often with the larger nails, I might do 4 zones instead of 3. I like to be a little bit more careful. Rather than put too much product on all at once, I'd rather use a little bit less and just make sure that I've got it under control. Okay, just finishing off the cuticle area. Brush the product down over the rest of the nail. Check from the sides that your apex is thick enough. And once you're happy, just going to leave that to set. Okay, this nail's set, so I'm going to remove the form and file it. So again, same method, side walls, tidy up your free edge. I use the Essential Nails 100-180 grit files. I like to start off with the really rough side. That'll be the 100, and remove the worst of the product. You know, smooth it down. Make sure your tip's nice and thin. Once I'm happy with the shape and structure, I often turn it over, particularly near the cuticle. I like to be really particular about this bit. When you use the top coat afterwards, it's so shiny that if you have any little deviation or lump on the surface, it will really show up. It will be exaggerated by the light reflecting off it. Okay, buffer. Of course, if you prefer to tip, I always make sure I take all the frills out underneath with all the plastic. Right, let's brush away the dust. Okay, now I have a really fine brush and 3 colours of paint, red, white and black. So I've got them all prepped in my palette already. I'm going to paint a small red flower on here. Just very randomly. These are the easiest flowers to paint. That's why I love them, because you don't have to be neat. Just stick 5 petals anywhere. Now I'm going to use white to put some little swirls up this nail. Let's start up here. Just some random shapes. You do whatever you like. Now I'm also going to use white to go around each petal of this flower, just on one side only, just to highlight them and make them show up a little bit more. Sort of semicircular shape. And then I'm going to use the black to go around the other side. I love doing these. If you make a mistake, it is so easy. You just take your white buffer block and you just buff it off. It comes off in seconds, you can start again. There we go. So leave your paint to dry fully before applying top coat because you don't want to drag any of this paint out of place. And just let that sit for a minute. Okay, so once your paint's dry, ready for a top coat, I tend to find that it's easier when you're doing a whole set of nails because I start with the pinky on one hand and I work my way over 10, so by the time I come back to do this hand and top coat it, the paint's dry already anyway. So I'm just going to top coat this again with clear, and then I'm going to cure it in the lamp for 30 seconds. Okay, so now it's time to remove the sticky residue, wipe off the nail. There we go, all nice and shiny. This is what I love so much about these. Different colours, different paint, different highlighter. They look different every time. And you can do them to match your outfit. So finishing touches, I've just got some crystals. I'm just going to apply a tiny little silver crystal to the middle of this flower with a little bit of brush on glue, tip adhesive. You want to make sure you're going to use a tiny, tiny little bit of this. Like that. Now personally I find that these stay on really well just with a little bit of glue. Some people like to gel them on, but if you get too much gel over the top of that crystal, it's going to lose its shine because they've got so many little facets that make them really shiny. And then just finish it off with a bit of cuticle oil. You could even do every nail a different colour.